the end of One Piece will be monumental. I'm sure the thought of One Piece's final chapter, its final episode, has crossed your minds at least dozens of times. It's a nerve-wracking yet exciting and sad yet triumphant thought that the conclusion has already been long envisioned and is slowly approaching. Eiichiro Oda, the author of the highest-selling manga of all time, One Piece, recently predicted that he'd finish the series in 5 years, according to editor Takuma Naito. And despite being quite some time until then, for a franchise that began in 1997 over 2 decades ago, this is surreal. From the beginning, Oda had crafted such a grandiose story even by shonen standards. Impressively, he has continued to stay true to the story's purpose, for Luffy to find the One Piece and become the Pirate King. The adventure initially implied that this was a simple quest for wealth, fame and power, but has evolved seamlessly and appropriately as we come to understand through characterization the values of our protagonist, which clashes with the setting, as the world building has exposed the cracks of the system that dominates the story, the world government, for a dream to become the freest man in the world. It is this path towards freedom and dreams that makes Luffy and the Straw Hats different to the other pirates, creating their own legacy as we speak. But it's more than just that makes One Piece special. One Piece is a story with a tapestry of intertwining and compelling narratives, some merely panels while others stretching across multiple arcs, all in service to the overarching story that even covers events over the course of hundreds of years. Even Luffy's story is seemingly a part of something even greater, whether it be involving the characters, hierarchy, setting, or even the mysteries. Oda puts in the time and manages to give all of these aspects well-realized personality, distinctiveness, and relevance to the story. It allows the world to feel alive, with not a single instance of stagnation, and gives a truly fascinating sense of history. Oda is excellent at withholding and setting up foreshadowed mysteries that have been revealed and paid off in clever and meaningful ways. In some cases even, it's completely unexpected yet believable, where a simple act or interaction rewards a character countless of arcs later. Whether it be tying or exploring interconnected plot threads, or gaining an asset, allows the actions of the previous arcs to be ever more gratifying, even beyond their self-contained stories. When I think of my favourite moments, I think of Luffy slamming Arlong into the ground, destroying the tower, freeing Nami from the shackles of burden that have kept her from her dreams after all these years. I think of the ringing of the golden bell of Skypiea, a 400-year promise between Nolan and Kalgara, fulfilled by Luffy, to prove to Mont Blanc Cricket, the descendant of Nolan and everyone that doubted his words, that the City of Gold exists in the sky. I think of Robin's plea to live, a culmination of finally accepting that her life was worth living, accepting her family into her heart, and accepting the weight of O'Hara's will that still lives in her, persevering through all of the betrayal, death and trauma she had been through. I think of the Going Merry's funeral, where so many memories between the Straw Hats were built on the ship, but at the quiet expense of poor repairs and dangerous waters that eventually led to this moment. I think of all the newspaper scenes that gives us an intriguing perspective on the moving world beyond the main cast's perspective. I think of all the expressive, creative and unique islands that we've already journeyed through, with their own one-of-a-kind ecosystem, such as Punk Hazard, an island that is half lava and ice, caused by an intensive brawl between two individuals for hierarchical gain, permanently changing the weather. Water 7, a city of shipwrights, in which its entire architecture is designed around the giant annual tide that is the Aqua Laguna, and so many other settings rich with detail. I think of the entire climactic battle of Marineford, the tragedy that is the Fishman and Merfolk, the formation of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, Luffy vs Katakuri, and so many more moments. As this series has aged over the years, I've long stopped reading it to actively find out its biggest mystery, the One Piece. The idea of it has ironically become something of a distant legend, both narratively and as a reader, and it'll feel almost wrong to one day know the answer. Rather, I continue to read One Piece for the adventure, for all the times that Oda has proven that he can pay off his stories in meaningful ways, just like all the moments mentioned. With so much setup dedicated to the overarching narrative, and the trust that Oda has built with his audience, it is a promise to keep reading for something even greater. What happened in the Void Century? What are the secrets of the World Noble, Mary Joa, and the National Treasure? Who is Im? What is the will of D? What is the significance of the Straw Hat? What does it mean to hear the voices of all things? Who is Joy Boy? What is the history of the mysterious Rocks pirates? What are the ancient weapons' role in the story? What are the origins and secrets of devil fruits? And there are plenty of other mysteries, while not as pivotal, I've been dying to know, such as the circumstances behind Shanks' scar, how Blackbeard could eat 2 devil fruits, who is Vegapunk, and what is his relationship with Kuma, the world government, and potentially the Revolutionary Army. What is Dragon's devil fruit, his relationship with Garp, and his ultimate motive? Who's the 3rd new admiral? What is Aokiji's goal for allying with the Blackbeard pirates? What is the deal with Juri Bonney? Will Eneru's story on the moon ever get further exploration? And so many other questions aside from the One Piece itself. But of course, I can't forget our main characters, the Straw Hats. I can't wait for the dreams to at last be fulfilled. For Usopp to travel to Elbaf and become the brave warrior of the seas. For Sanji to find the All Blue, the chef's paradise. For Chopper to become the doctor that can cure all sickness. For Frankie to become the shipwright that built and sailed the Thousand Sunny that would reach the end of the seas. For Nami to draw a map of the entire world. For Brook to reunite with Laboon after sailing the seas. For Zoran to duel the world's greatest swordsman and take their title. For Robin to fulfill O'Hara's will and discover the lost history. And last of all, for Monkey D. Luffy to return his straw hat to Shanks, find the One Piece, and become the Pirate King, carrying out Gold D. Rogers' will. The thought of what's to come is daunting, but incredibly exciting. The climax of One Piece is something we've all been waiting for. The day Luffy outgrows his iconic line of becoming the Pirate King, to instead declaring proudly that he is, will be surreal. Watching these characters, setting and story all grow in unison has been an absolute pleasure, and I know there'll be quite a few moments even outside of the narrative that will get me teary-eyed. For the manga, the last chapter will be legendary worldwide, with One Piece dominating the Shōnen Jump magazine cover more than ever before with a fully coloured chapter. As we see the last colour spread of all the Straw Hats celebrating together one last time, maybe even with the Going Merry there, or we could get a giant collage of all the most memorable moments of the story. I can't wait to see the last cover story told, one of the series' unique and iconic means of storytelling. The final few panels and the last word said, without the dreaded on-break caption that will ever bother us again. While for the anime, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the art style will evolve, as it has so many times over the 2 decades. It will have a splendidly animated final opening, and eye-catchers of each of the Straw Hats in the concluding arc. And hearing the narrator introduce the title card one last time, as well as witnessing the absence of the now iconic To Be Continued screen, will truly signify the end of an era. The legacy that the Straw Hats, One Piece, and Eiichiro Oda will leave on the world will be monumental.
俺はモンキー D. ルフィ海賊王になる男だ。